In its 39th year, the Standard Bank Young Artist Awards are the country's leading arts honour conferred by the National Arts Festival on deserving South African artists. This year, the awards go to Lorin Sookool, dance, Darren English onto jazz, Zoe Modiga, music, Angel Ho, performing arts, Kgomotso MoMo Matsunyane, theatre, and Stephané Conradie, visual arts. And we'll be chatting to this year's recipients. But for now, joining us via Zoom is Lorin Sookool and Stephané Conradie virtually. Ladies, a very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Zanzi. Thanks for having us.
Good stuff. Good to have you. Good to have you this morning. Now, Stephané, I'm going to start with you. Just share with us your background and what makes you and your work unique.
So I am an artist that has origins in Namibia and South Africa. And my background is in the visual arts, but I'm also a lecturer, a teacher at the University of Cape Town in visual arts. So I see myself as a teacher and a visual artist. And my background is in looking at the domestic objects in people's homes and finding ways to group them and conglomerate them together in new ways to tell stories, hidden stories that are trapped or embedded in people's narratives or in people's domestic objects.
And why did you decide to make art in the first place? I mean, what drew you to visual arts?
So I think that what drew me to visual arts was the small sort of acts of creativity that I saw in people's everyday environments. So if you think about the things that people put together in their home environments, like I know that many mothers would be doing wedding decorations, or they would be making things so beautiful in our homes. And I was really attracted to those acts of creativity that I saw around me. And it's in those moments that I thought, oh, I'd like to try that as well. And so it was that fostering of creativity in the home environment. But it's not the ones on the large scale, but it's the creativity that we do in our everyday environments. And so that's what drew me to the visual arts.
You're quite right there. I mean, creativity is every day. It's part of us. It's part of our daily routines. Now, Lorin, let me also bring you in. What genre does your work fall into? I mean, is it abstract expressionism or realism?
Well, I think I would put it under the broad term of contemporary dance, if we understand contemporary to be something of the now. So taking into consideration dance history and the sort of dance styles that I have learned, but turning it into something that is more reflective of me and where I come from, my culture, my country. So contemporary, I would put it there.
Okay. And just how aware are you of what audiences see in your work and what it provokes?
Well, I try to create avenues for my audience to contact me. I try to create conversations through my work, either directly after the performance or through social media. I always open up the conversation there. So I'm aware that my work does create conversation. And the kind of conversation it creates is due to a motivation that seeks truth. I see myself as a seeker, and I'm motivated by a deep search for origin, home, authenticity, a sense of belonging, indigeneity, African identity, socio-cultural context. The South African social-cultural context is what motivates themes in my work. And that's how I connect to people.
Got you. Right. Now, Stephané, did your upbringing perhaps prompt a specific reference point within your work?
Yeah, so it did. I see my work as thinking about, in a South African context, I see myself as a Creole person, someone that has histories and origins in all the different people that were brought to the South African our country, South Africa. So all the conflicting moments of from enslavement to historical migrations. If you think about brown people moving up into the interior, and then I also see all of those different histories embedded in the way that I understand myself in this context, unequal situations, but all coming together in the way that we think about how objects can also migrate. And so if you can't find the words for your own sort of belonging or identity, then I see that you can find it in the stories that we embed in domestic objects. So definitely my home environment has influenced the way that I understand myself as situated in this country.
And it's good to see that art is actually playing a very massive role in terms of bridging those inequalities that we've just spoken about. Now, Lorin, let's talk about how you get your work out into the world, and just how have you solidified a base of followers and contacts?
Over the last few years, I have delved more and more into what Stephané herself is speaking to. The body is political. The dancing body is political. The minute you put the body on stage, certain things are signified. You read things about my race, my gender, my ability, and I have chosen to not ignore that. And so my base, I guess, supporting base, fan base, my followers are becoming people with a similar socio-cultural context. It's helped me. I have recently been venturing into the international space and focusing on my specific context has given me it's given me specificity outside of this country. And being outside of this country has also made me understand my positionality within South Africa as well. And I think when you go really deep into something, not only does it become clearer, but it becomes more easily accessible and in a way expansive. By going in, we are able to open up what we do in some way. I don't know if that makes sense.
Perfect sense, yeah,
so,
got you.
Yeah, it's been a continuation of my voice, really.
And just speak to us briefly about your solo offering for the Liverpool Biennial.
My solo offering for the Liverpool Biennial last year is a work called Woza Wenties, which can be translated as Woza. Wenties is referring to the place that I come from in Durban, Wentworth. And I'm speaking about that, my so-called colored identity. I'm thinking about the ways in which my blackness was eradicated during my formative years through different institutions and codes of conduct. And I'm looking for a deep search, as I said in the beginning, to my own African identity and trying to motion towards establishing that in that work.
All right, Lorin and Stephané, great chatting to you ladies. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Great stuff.